Welcome to the Magical Traveling Moms podcast, where your hosts, Tina and Colleen, talk about all things travel. From theme parks to cruises to all-inclusive resorts and more, they cover news, tricks, and insider tips to inspire your travel dreams. They love to travel and want you to love it too. Find out their best-kept secrets and learn how to make your next vacation extra magical, right here on the Magical Traveling Moms podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Magical Traveling Moms podcast. My name is Colleen and I am joined today with my lovely co-host Tina. And today we are talking all about budget travel tips that we want to share with you to help you save money while you are traveling this year with your family. But before we get started, we do always like to say a little something about the sponsors of our show, Mystical Dream Travel. Mystical Dream Travel is a full-service travel agency specializing in premium family vacations, such as Disney destinations, cruises, Mexico, the Caribbean, Hawaii. The agents at Mystical Dream Travel will help you from start to finish to plan the perfect vacation for your family. So if you are ready to start planning your 2022 family vacation, be sure to reach out to the amazing agents at Mystical Dream Travel. You can find them at mysticaldreamtravel.com or look them up on social media. So, Tina, are you excited to talk about some budget travel tips today?
I am super excited. I could probably use quite a few of these tips.
I know.
My husband would be happy.
I mean, everyone is, budget conscious, and which, is, of course, a good, no matter what type of trip you're going on, even if it's a bucket list, you want to get the best bang for your buck. So, and we actually got this idea from one of our listeners, and they requested that we do something about budget travel. So here you go. You ask and we will listen. So I came up with 10. I mean, I could have kept going because there are a lot of really great budget travel tips. So I could see this being something we do again in another podcast, maybe dive a little deeper into specific stuff. But these are just sort of 10 overview budget tips, I think. So let's just jump right in.
All right.
So the first tip is to consider what time of the year that you travel. And I think that some people do this already, but it's more about when is their kids on school vacation or when do they have school vacation. And obviously each destination has its peak time, but that's also going to be when it's most expensive to go, when everybody else is going. So if you can think about when it's not peak time, when it's low season, you could save a lot of money.
You can, and not just really on the destination itself, but also on the airfare. So when you're going, typically during like spring break or over like a 3-day holiday weekend, Christmas, your airfare is going to be through the roof. So it's hard. I know sometimes you can't not go during those times because you're purposely picking those because of the kids are not in school. But if you can actually avoid them, sometimes even going a day before and staying a day after can adjust your air and make it lower. So I'm discovering that now. So for a trip in February.
With the airfare also, like if you do have to travel during a holiday, sometimes if you fly on the holiday, like if you wanted to fly on Christmas Day or on 4th of July, right? Like, because that's not like usually people are going to fly before or after,
right?
Not actually on the holiday. So like if you have to go during a holiday, that might be a way to save on your airfare. But, every destination is going to have its low season. Now, of course, I do suggest you think about what you're giving up by going during the low season, or, why, because if you think about cruises, cruises are less expensive in the fall, but that's because it's hurricane season.
Yes.
So, there's a trade-off there about, why is it the low season, and just making sure if you're going to Hawaii and you really want to see the whales, well, you're only going to be able to see them during certain months of the year. So you maybe don't want to go during the low season because that's not when you're going to see the whales.
Right. Exactly.
So just, try to find that compromise of you still going to get the experience you want, but maybe go when other people aren't.
Right. And it's the same thing with Walt Disney World. Usually they're kind of lower season. I will say like January, February.
Right.
But keep in mind the parks close earlier oftentimes and the pools close early. So
well, and it's chilly, so you might not want to go in the pool.
Well, it's chilly for you, but not chilly for those in the north. Like, we'll still get in the heated pool.
The pools are heated, that's true. Well, and also with Walt Disney World, during this time of year, the January, February, is when they'll do refurbishments on the ride. Yes. So like Splash Mountain is always pretty much not available during like January, at some point, because that's when they do the refurbishment. So you have to know that, try, look into that stuff before you decide and make sure you're not going to not get to do something you really wanted to do. So my second tip is to shop for flights ahead of time, but you also don't want to buy them too far in advance. So I feel like buying airfare is like a very complicated dance.
It is. I always tell people, whatever price point you're comfortable with, that's when you purchase it, and don't go back and look again.
Yeah, don't keep checking, because once you buy it, that's it. I mean,
you're done.
Yeah. You're not going to get a better price, but it's tricky. Airfare is definitely tricky, and I wanted to mention, we've talked about it before, the Hopper app, because I find that to be very helpful. It'll watch an airfare for you. So you go on and you say, I want to go from here to here on these days. And then it just keeps sending you alerts like, oh, hey, your airfare is this much now. And you can look and it'll tell you whether or not it thinks it's a good price or if you should keep waiting. But I find with international, like 60 days, like right around that 60 days out. So airfare is tricky because it's like you've got to find that sweet spot. So if you start looking early and then you keep monitoring it as you get closer, then you're probably going to get a better price.
Yeah, and if you're willing to wait, I know those that don't travel too often, they get nervous about it, and so they don't always want to, wait.
It is a risk.
Those of us who travel quite a bit. Like I just got a notification for the Hopper. I'm waiting on something for February, and the one part of the ticket really came down a decent amount. When I was originally looking at it, even just 2 weeks ago, it was probably like almost $600 a person to fly, and now it's down to about $187.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
That is a huge difference.
Wow.
So
why? I mean, airfare people. It's funny because I would say that's probably one of the most frequent questions that I get is like, when should I buy my airfare? Do you think this airfare will come down? And it's like, I wish I knew.
Yes.
If anybody could figure out how airfare is priced, they would make $1 million, because it's just there's so many different things that go into it. Now, one bonus tip that I wanted to mention about airfare is if you fly on Spirit, which Spirit is discounted, kind of bargain airfare anyway. But not everybody knows, if you go to the airport and you buy your ticket at the desk at the airport instead of online, you can save up to like 50% off of what the online price showed you. Like I've gotten a round trip flight to Orlando from here for like $42.
I know it's definitely worth it if you have an airport, within driving distance to go to the counter and make the purchase. However, keep in mind with Spirit, if you're part of it used to be called their $9 fare club, but I think they changed it recently.
Yeah.
That actually, if you're part of that and that's online, that actually is the best deal versus going.
Oh, is it? Oh, see, I didn't know that. Okay, because I'm not part of their, because I don't fly Spirit that often. I've just done it a couple times, but that is a very good tip too. And I would say especially with airlines being part of their rewards program or whatever club, like, try to do the one that's like free to join or something, it can help, because they'll send you emails and, it's just, you can build up points that maybe you could use for a flight later on, or they have incentives. So it can be worth it because airfare is pricey.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing I do want to say about airfare, we touched on this briefly, is a lot of times they won't, once you purchase, they won't give you your money back. But I will tell you that Southwest is really good. If you go in and they come out with a better price and you modify your reservation to go to the cheaper price, you don't get money back, but you get it back in air credit.
Like a credit that you could use for another flight. Oh, yeah. but that's something. I mean,
absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah, so that's a nice little tip, so then you have maybe some air, and Southwest points don't expire.
Oh, well, that is very nice.
Yes.
That's really nice. Yeah, airfare is
it's tricky. It's tricky. Yeah,
it can be. So my next tip actually still kind of has to do with airfare. And it's if you book a package. So this applies a lot with, especially like all-inclusive resorts in the Caribbean. If you can book your package where you get your resort stay and your airfare together, a lot of times there's some type of discount there. There's some deal where if you just book your room and then you book the flight separate, or if you book the flight later, you'll probably end up paying more total for both things.
Yep. And depending on what package or what supplier you're booking with, a lot of times you can get a charter flight, which is a direct flight to the destination. And that makes it very nice. And the airfare is definitely a lot cheaper. Usually we're talking like $300 to $400 cheaper when you can go to those destinations that offer those charter flights.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can remember once pricing out a package for someone flying out of Atlanta to Punta Cana, and it was cheaper for them to book the vacation with the package with the airfare than for them to book just the airfare all on its own. It was crazy, like how much less it was. And so it was like, it didn't make sense to book that airfare separate.
No, it's a big savings. And speaking of like packages in general, and I don't know if you have this on your tip list, but I would definitely recommend going at a time when someone is offering, when the destination or the travel destination is offering a good deal. So a lot of times they come out with offers. There are certain times a year that the offers are available, and that could save you some cases like thousands of dollars on your vacation. So you want to think about that when you're looking at packages as a whole, that certain times of year, and Colleen touched on this, that when you're in like their off season, that's when you're really going to see the offers, because that's when they don't have many people traveling there.
Exactly. Right.
So they're trying to encourage people to travel.
Yeah, they want people to come, so they're going to give you like a deal.
Yes.
Like kids go free or something like that. That's
right.
That's
exactly.
Nice. Kids go free.
That's usually a big one at all inclusives, and and the other one too is like Disney offers room only discounts. So where you could save money off your room depending on the resort category that you're in.
Yeah. No, it's definitely worth making sure like when those deals are. So another thing that I recommend you book early, and especially lately, is rental cars. So I feel like rental cars, sometimes like people don't think about your rental car, like, and when you're thinking about everything else you're doing, you're not like thinking, oh, I got to book that rental car. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to rent a car at anywhere for any time, for any reason, like you better be booking it way far in advance, because it is crazy how much rental cars cost right now.
Yeah, and they're slim pickings on top of that.
Well, you might not be able to get one. If you wait too long, there might not be a rental car available for you.
Right, exactly. So if you're going to add a rental car to your package, do it at the time of booking.
Right away. I mean, I always say to people, and depending on what the supplier and the vendor's cancellation policies are, but it's usually a lot easier to take something away later, like take it off
and then
add it on. If you
decide because if you wait like 2 months down the road till like 2 weeks before your vacation, the price may even be triple the amount that it was original a couple of months ago.
Yeah, rent. I don't think that kind of, I think, took people by surprise, that the rental car industry just, I mean, they're just really crazy right now with having no inventory and everything. Of course, it's supply and demand. That's why the price is so expensive. But, I don't think people got used to, it's no big deal to get a cheap rental car anytime, anywhere, at the airport, blah, blah, blah. But now it's like, no, you can't. Like, it's not.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Long gone are the days when you could walk right up to the counter.
Yeah. And not have it already like reserved. Oh my gosh, no! Like that's not gonna happen right now.
Yes.
My gosh, that's when you end up having to rent like a U-Haul to drive somewhere because you can't get a car.
Absolutely.
Another vacation destination or type of vacation you want to book early is my next tip is a cruise. Like cruises are typically always going to be the cheapest, like when they're the very first out, like to book. So, and some cruise lines, I mean, you can book like 2-3 years out on some of these cruises.
Yeah, over the last couple of years, pre-pandemic, cruise lines are like really been in demand, and they've been growing very fastly as a really popular vacation with clients and families, and because it's just such a great option. You unpack once and you get to see multiple destinations. We've talked about that several times on here, but with cruise lines and they're still very popular. They're starting to see a comeback. People are really starting to book, and we're starting to see availability go down, especially for those wanting to do last minute. Mm-hmm. But with the cruise lines, the sooner you book it, the better your price point is going to be. And really, like Colleen said, the best time to really book it for the best deal is when the itineraries are released, for whatever months or years that they're releasing at that time. That's going to be your best deal, is within that first 2 weeks of booking. So like, a lot of people want to go on the Disney cruise. And the thing with Disney Cruise Line, it sells out pretty much at 90% capacity every time. There's no need for them to lower the pricing at all. Like we talked about supply and demand. So your best point, so if you're thinking like, fall of 2023, you're going to want to get on your Mystical Dream Travel agent's wait list for when that comes out in the later this year, because that first 2 weeks is really going to be your best.
Yeah. And it does. And the price will go up, like with even after that first 2 weeks, and then the price starts going up, and it just keeps going up as it gets closer. Because like you said, like Disney, like the pricing is going to be based on the availability. So as the ship books up, the price of the room is going to go up. And Disney is like doesn't go down in price
ever. We wish it did, but it doesn't.
They don't need to make it go down in price. But I would also say like bucket list cruises, like Alaska cruises and Hawaii cruises, those things book up really fast.
Yes.
Like we have the Mystical Dream Travel group cruise to Hawaii, which isn't until summer 2023. But I'm telling you that their availability is already going way down for that ship, because those kinds of cruises people want, and they book it really far out. So
so they can plan for it and save for it. And that's another thing. Traveling with groups can also get you a really great discount, get you additional amenities that maybe you normally wouldn't get just by booking, individually. So it's definitely something to think about with the group travel. And while the cruise lines do have some really good deals, and Disney does too from time to time, but you have to keep in mind that there are restrictions, especially with Disney. when on those deals because they're like a guaranteed booking, and more often than not, those are not refundable. So while it is a really, really good deal, you need to make sure you're reading the fine print on that.
Yeah, exactly. Understand the cancellation policy, like what your options are if you decide you can't go on that cruise for some reason. Absolutely. And that's a really great tip. And I see, again, like I could have come up with 20 tips, I guess, but the traveling with a group is another great tip.
Yes.
Because if you are looking to, I mean, you could organize a group. Like you could say, I want to go to Cancun and do an all-inclusive stay. Well, you get enough friends and family to go with you, you can get your room for free, and the same is true for a cruise. If you get enough people to go on your group, like you could basically get your vacation for free just by, telling everybody else to book with you. So that can be a really great way of
absolutely
on your travel.
Yeah, and not to mention additional amenities. There's a lot of amenities and perks that you can get, like private transfers to and from the resort, and there's all kind of things that you can get that you would normally have to pay out of pocket that you wouldn't. So group travel is a great way to go and help with a decent budget. So
and you don't necessarily have to have like 20 rooms booked, to qualify as a group. A lot of places it's just like 5 or 10 rooms that you need. So it's not like you have to be having a wedding or something in order to qualify. Anybody could just get together like a group and say, oh yeah, we're all going to go. Like I book a lot of birthday groups. It's just a bunch of friends that are going to celebrate somebody's birthday, but we set it up as a group.
And even friend groups, friends that like to travel together, families that like to travel together. It is really a great deal. And, like Colleen touched on earlier, travel bucket lists are really popular as far as groups go. It's just a really great option to help you save some money and just get some additional benefits and perks with your trip that you normally wouldn't get.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So the next tip I have is probably more like most applicable to something like a Walt Disney World vacation or Universal vacation. But it's to get grocery delivery to your hotel for snacks and maybe breakfast items. I would, try to stick to non-perishable things because most standard hotel rooms are going to have a mini fridge, but it's pretty mini. It's a very
they're small.
It's not like you're going to have a freezer or, and I do think there's a little bit of a misconception sometimes that standard hotel rooms come with microwaves. They don't usually. You would have to have like a suite or a villa in order to get a microwave. So I've had several people like be surprised, like, oh, I figured my room would come with a microwave. And it's like, nah, a standard hotel room is really just going to have a mini fridge and a coffee pot, and that's it. But nowadays, with Shipt and Uber Eats and Grubhub and like all these companies have popped up, there are so many options to have groceries delivered to your hotel, and then you don't have to, buy breakfast. Is my biggest tip for people is like, don't, get yourself some granola bars or something that's easy to make in your hotel room that you can just quickly grab, like on your way out to the parks. And then you don't have to buy something in the parks and spend, start your day spending $30 on breakfast.
Right, exactly. We often pack snacks in our suitcases. So we'll pack like granola bars and, just real quick little things like that for breakfast in the morning when we're at Walt Disney World. So I have another tip since we're talking about food. So this is kind of like staying at a higher end hotel, but staying at a club level resort can save you some money. A lot of people, it may be a little pricey on the upfront, for your package, but staying club level, especially at like Walt Disney World or Universal, you get that added perk of having like your breakfast include like a continental style breakfast included, and then there's snacks throughout the day and small plates for dinner, and
drinks. They have beer and wine.
Yes.
too. I think that's amazing. You know, I've stayed club level before, and it's a nice perk. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. Yeah. And then you're not spending as much, you know, you're going to utilize that. You know, you definitely have to maximize that in order for you to get your money's worth of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. But it is a nice way to, you know, do something luxurious, but also at the same time, save yourself some money by taking advantage of that club lounge.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Yep,
yeah,
100%.
definitely. And I have a lot of clients that drive to Disney because we're, you know, about 8 hours. And I will usually, anybody I know that drives, I suggest, you know, if you're driving, bring food with you or stop at the grocery store on your way into the resort and just buy, you know, some chips and granola bars and whatever, pretzels, whatever. And yeah, you can bring food into the parks at Walt Disney World. And I don't know as though everybody realizes that you are allowed to bring in food and beverages. You just can't bring in glass bottles and you can't bring in alcohol.
Yep. A lot of people don't realize that you can do that. That's a question we get asked quite often.
We do, because other theme parks, you're not. You know, like we have our local theme park, Carowinds. Like you are not allowed to bring anything in except maybe like an empty water bottle. Like that's it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you are not allowed to bring in food or drinks or anything like that.
We have a local called Kennywood. And we're actually allowed. They have picnic tables, and you can bring in a cooler. Yes, and you can have picnics. And I remember
Carowinds just wants you to buy their very overpriced food. Every time I eat it, I'm like, I will never complain about the price of Disney food ever again.
Yes. Well, you know what? Even though you can bring food into Kennywood, we're famous for our potato patch fries, and so. I know, Colleen, we got to get you to Pittsburgh to eat all the Pittsburgh
clearly, there's all these things in Pittsburgh. That's a whole other topic we have to talk about someday.
Yes. But so I mean, people still buy those. But anyway, we're getting off topic.
Saving on food is a good, you know, like anywhere you can save on food, because that's a pretty big expense that isn't always, I mean, unless you're going to an all-inclusive or maybe a cruise, but like you haven't spent that money yet. By when you get there, you still have to buy food.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what I think sometimes what makes a cruise and an all-inclusive a great value and a great money-saving tip, because all your food's included.
It's included, right? Like there is stuff you could buy that's extra, but you don't have to.
Right, exactly.
When you know you've already paid for everything you actually need, and anything's just extra that you do. Yeah. So my next tip is to make sure that you mention if you're celebrating something special, like a birthday or an anniversary or a honeymoon. And this is like definitely for all inclusives in particular, because a lot of times they will have special things that they do for anybody celebrating a special thing. And they'll give you like a discount at the spa or a discount off of a romantic dinner, or a bottle of champagne or breakfast in bed one day. Like there's these really nice little perks that you can get. And even at Disney, I mean, I don't know. I just think like extra magical things happen for you if you happen to be wearing like a birthday button or a honeymoon button, or I'm celebrating something button. You know, you definitely do get recognized at a lot of places for that stuff.
No, I agree. I think it's a great tip to make sure you let them know that you are celebrating something special, to be able to take advantage of those great additional perks. They
want you to feel special too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Always.
Who doesn't want to feel special on their special day?
Yeah, I mean, anywhere there's ever a box to put, like, what are you celebrating? What's going on? I mean, even at a restaurant, you say it's your birthday. Like, sometimes you never know, you get a free dessert or something. You don't know, so you might as well just tell everyone.
Yes, exactly.
Don't be shy about saying what it is you're doing.
Yes.
So the next tip we have is to book an entry level category at a resort. Like, as this is more of an all-inclusive tip for me, because obviously there's a million different kinds of rooms and some of them are beautiful and gorgeous, and I love an ocean view or a giant suite with a, big sunken tub in it or something. But if you're looking to save money and budget is, something you're really conscious of, go to a luxurious resort, but book the entry level category, because the vast majority of everything is going to be the same for you. Yes. As the person who booked the most expensive room at the resort. You're still going to get almost all of the same exact things in terms of food and drinks and amenities. And, there is maybe a little bit that's special or extra for the people who book the higher categories, but you're still going to have an amazing time, even if you stay in the entry level, and it can be significantly less expensive.
Yeah, it can really be a big savings if you're not someone who is real married to like the perfect view. That's really what oftentimes it comes down to is the location of your room. If you're okay with looking at a parking lot or a garden view room and not having that ocean front view, it definitely can save you some money, big time.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather stay at a really high-end resort, but stay in the entry-level room than go to a lower quality resort where I could afford an ocean view. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I know exactly.
It really matter to me. I mean, of course, it is all personal preference, but the stuff that would matter to me more than the view from my room or how big my room is would be how good is the food and what's the pool like and what's the beach like and what activities are included, what's the entertainment, that kind of stuff is what matters. And it doesn't matter what room category you book. For the most part, all that is going to be the same for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at all-inclusives, you really want to look at things that some brands, some all-inclusive brands include more in your stay versus others that do not. So you want to keep that in mind. I think we probably need to do like budget tips on like each category, because like each destination.
I agree. That would be a good thing. Yeah, we could really just go deep into cruises or all inclusive or Disney.
Yes,
the budget tips for Disney. Okay, so my next budget tip, and I do this with my kids in particular, is to make sure you come up with a souvenir budget ahead of time, and to help you stick to it, you can do like a preloaded gift card. Now, like when we go to Disney, I like to do this with my kids, where I get Disney gift cards and I buy them at Target with my red card. You get 5% off if you buy Disney gift cards at Target. And I'm like, here's your Disney gift card with your $50 on it to buy what you want. And then that's it. Like, you don't get anything more. But even for yourself, to say, okay, I don't want to spend more than $200 total on gifts, and here's my either cash or here's my preloaded gift card, and once it's gone, and then I know I'm not. Because sometimes you start whipping out the credit card or using your magic band, and then you get to the end of your trip and you're like, oh wow, look at that.
Yes, well, I never at Disney put my magic band connect my credit card to my
Oh, you're good. Wow.
Because I don't trust myself.
Yeah, well, I should probably not do it too.
Yes. So I don't do that. But I agree with you. Our daughter, when she was little, because kids at Disney, they have the marketing down pat. You come off every attraction and the kids are so excited and you walk into a store.
I have to have it.
Yes, I have to. So we learned after the second trip to Disney with our daughter when she was little that we started giving her one gift card a day and said, when this is done, it's done. So if you want to spend it on extra snacks because or you want to buy that 20th stuffed animal that you really don't need, because you have 50 of them sitting on your bed.
Right.
That's all you're getting. So I think that is an excellent tip because it helps. It does a couple of things for them. It helps them really think about what they want, and it starts teaching them money management.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it helps them learn to think about, well, what do I really, because once this is gone, it's gone. And they might end up wasting the money a couple of times before they start to get it.
Yes, exactly.
But still, at least you've set a limit of like, okay, and you've created that boundary of this is it. And once it's gone, it's gone. So once it's gone, they can't be like, I mean, they will probably still try to get you, but you can be like, no, I told you.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a client tell me a really funny story after she went to Disney World with her kids, and her daughter, her like 4-year-old daughter, loves the bubble wands.
Oh,
so
yes.
They the first day they went to the parks, had to have a bubble wand, got the bubble wand. But then the next day they forgot the bubble wand in their hotel.
Oh, no.
She wanted, where's my bubble wand? Just buy her another bubble wand. They forgot that bubble wand every single day. By the end of the trip, they had like 4 bubble wands.
Oh, no.
And she said, it wasn't until like the last day that they realized how expensive the bubble wands were, because they were looking at the price, right? Like they were just buying it and like doing like the magic band.
Yes, right? That's why I don't do the magic band.
And they're like $25 a pop or something, and she was like, oh, we have like $100 worth of bubble wands.
Next time you go to Disney, I'd be taking them with me, and we're not buying any.
I was like, make sure you save your bubble.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
She was like, I had no idea, but it can sneak up on you because you're maybe not paying that close attention and you're just buying stuff.
Yes.
You can go over budget really quickly.
Oh yes. I always think of that Seinfeld episode when George's parents were going to move to Florida, and he was like, you could drop $1,000 in Disney like that. It's true. It's very true.
I mean, you drop $1,000 to Disney before you even walk through the gate. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we're actually to the last and final budget tip we have for today. And like we said, I think we'll definitely be doing more of these. And this is really kind of like my number 1 tip for budget travel, and that is to use a travel agent, because a travel agent can help you know when the deals are, when the least expensive time to go is, and find you the best deal, and definitely make sure it's a travel agent that does rate watching, which mystical dream travel agents do, because some things, once you book it, that's it. You can't like change the price, but there's quite a few things where like if a better price comes out, you could get the better price. Like Disney is one. And you want someone who's like paying attention to that, so that they can be like, oh, hey, there's, I know with me, when Disney comes out with a deal, I don't even ask my clients. I just jump on and like get them the deal. And then I'm like, hey, I just saved you $500.
Yes. Exactly.
But they can help you make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck, no matter what you're looking, whatever budget you have or what your priorities are. They'll help you find that right thing that is going to be the perfect thing for your budget. So you can't go wrong, especially, it doesn't cost you anything at all. So it's a win-win.
Yes. That is probably my number 1, as well as using a travel agent. The agents at Mystical Dream Travel are highly trained. They know the destinations well. They know they have great relationships with their travel partners. So they really know when these offers are coming available. And like Colleen said, more often than not, the offer comes out, and before you even wake up in the morning, you're getting an email from your travel agent at Mystical Dream Travel saying, hey, I saved you X amount of dollars on your vacation.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to have to worry about paying attention to that. And even like you mentioned earlier with the wait lists, you don't necessarily know when Disney Cruise Line is going to announce their next, 6 months worth of itineraries to be able to book. So you want someone who's paying it, going to know, who's in the know, who can have you on their list, so that the day it opens, you are on there, and they're getting you the best deal.
Absolutely.
Right out the gate. So definitely worth it. You cannot lose, I promise.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, we will definitely be doing more budget travel tips. And if there is a specific destination or type of travel that you want us to focus on, like you want to know more about budget tips or any other information, definitely drop us a comment on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, or message us and let us know what it is that you want to know more about. And we will definitely fit it into our schedule going forward. And also be sure to check us out on YouTube, like us, rate us, leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. That really, really helps us reach more people. And we really appreciate your support of our podcast. And until next time, we hope all of your travels are magical.